The night the rain turned the highway into a river of black glass was the night Ethan Cole thought his life could not sink any lower, and yet somehow it was also the night everything began to change. His hands shook on the steering wheel of his old pickup as thunder rolled like a warning from the sky, and in the back seat, his little boy slept with a jacket pulled over his ears, trusting his father to keep the world from breaking apart. Ethan had learned to live with that weight on his chest, the kind that never lifts, the kind that presses harder when you are a single parent with overdue bills, a worn-out heart, and a promise to a child that tomorrow would somehow be better than today. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of helping someone when you have almost nothing left to give, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments where you are watching from, because stories like this live through people who still believe goodness matters. Ethan had not always been this tired man with oil-stained hands and permanent shadows under his eyes. Once, he had dreams that felt big and close enough to touch. Once, there had been laughter in his home and plans pinned to the fridge with colorful magnets. But life had other ideas. After losing his wife to an illness that came fast and showed no mercy, Ethan's world narrowed to survival. Every morning was a negotiation with grief, every night a silent battle against fear that he might fail the one person who needed him most. He worked 2 jobs when he could find them, fixed engines for neighbors who paid in cash, and drove long routes at night just to earn a little extra, all while pretending he wasn't exhausted to the bone. That stormy highway was supposed to be just another shortcut home. Instead, headlights cut through the rain to reveal a motorcycle stopped on the shoulder, its rider hunched beside it like a fallen shadow. Most people would have kept driving. Most people did. Ethan slowed anyway, his heart pounding with the math of risk and responsibility. He had a child in the car. He had almost no money. He had no time. Yet something pulled him to the shoulder, something old and stubborn inside him that refused to let another human being be swallowed by the dark. The biker was soaked, helmet resting on the ground, dark hair plastered to her face, leather jacket torn at the sleeve. She looked strong and fragile at the same time, like someone who had learned to stand alone for far too long. Ethan helped her lift the bike, discovering a snapped chain and no chance of riding it anywhere that night. He offered what he had, which was not much, a dry seat in the truck, a thermos of lukewarm coffee, and a promise to get her somewhere safe. He did not ask questions. He did not expect thanks. He just acted, because that was how he survived his own pain, by not letting it make him smaller. Her name was Lily Hart, or at least that was the name she gave. She climbed into the truck quietly, eyes scanning the cracked dashboard, the child asleep in the back, the small signs of a life stretched thin but held together by care. Lily had spent years surrounded by wealth so vast it had lost all meaning. She had boardrooms, private jets, assistants who anticipated her needs before she spoke. What she did not have was peace, or trust, or love that was not tangled in contracts and expectations. That was why she rode alone at night, dressed like a stranger to her own world, searching for something real she could feel with her bare hands. The truck rolled toward a small town where the lights were soft and the streets mostly empty. Ethan dropped her at a modest roadside motel, insisting she take the room while he figured out the bike in the morning. Lily watched him walk away into the rain, shoulders hunched, jacket thin, never once asking for anything in return. It unsettled her more than any luxury ever had. Morning came gray and quiet. Ethan returned with tools borrowed from a friend, his son waiting in the truck with crayons and patience far beyond his years. He worked on the bike with care, fingers numb, mind elsewhere, thinking about rent, about school lunches, about how close he always was to falling behind. Lily watched him from the doorway, noticing how he smiled at his son, how he listened, how he made space for small joys even when his own life felt empty. Over the next days, paths crossed again and again. Lily lingered in town under the excuse of repairs and delays. Ethan offered help because helping was easier than talking about his own loneliness. They shared meals that were simple and honest. Walks where silence felt comfortable instead of awkward. Moments where laughter surprised them both, breaking through walls they did not know they were carrying. Lily did not tell him who she was. Ethan did not ask who she had been before the road. What mattered was who they were right there, in the middle of ordinary days that felt quietly extraordinary. But secrets have a way of rising, especially when hearts get involved. Lily's life beyond the leather jacket came crashing back when a black SUV appeared at the edge of town, sleek and out of place. Whispers followed. Names were searched online. Truth spilled out in fragments that could not be ignored. Lily Hart was not just a traveler. She was a billionaire heir, a powerful CEO, a woman whose world was measured in millions and expectations. Ethan felt the ground shift beneath his feet. Everything he thought was fragile suddenly felt impossible. He pulled away without drama, without accusations, because pride and fear can be louder than anger. He convinced himself that he had been a stop on her journey, a story she would tell and forget. He went back to his routines, to late nights and quiet mornings, to pretending he was fine. Lily, for the first time in her life, felt what it meant to lose something that money could not replace. She tried to return to her world, but it felt hollow. Boardrooms echoed. Applause sounded distant. All she could see was a man who had nothing and yet gave everything. Time passed, heavy and slow. Ethan struggled more than ever, a setback at work threatening the small balance he maintained. Lily watched from afar, knowing she could fix everything with a phone call, but understanding that love was not about rescue or control. It was about choice. It was about respect. When she finally returned, she did not come with cameras or grand gestures. She came alone, stripped of armor, ready to be seen without disguise. She found Ethan where she had first seen him, truly alive, helping others without being asked. She told him the truth of her search, the emptiness behind her wealth, the reason she rode into storms instead of hiding behind gates. She did not offer money. She offered honesty. Ethan listened, heart aching, afraid, hopeful. He realized that love did not ask him to be more than he was. It asked him to be brave enough to believe he was already enough. Their path was not suddenly easy. There were differences to navigate, fears to face, wounds that took time to heal. But there was also trust, built slowly, like everything real. Lily learned the quiet heroism of daily responsibility. Ethan learned that accepting love did not mean losing himself. Together, they built something that felt earned, grounded, and deeply human. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that kindness can change lives and that love can appear when you least expect it, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who believes in hope, and let your engagement help more people find stories that heal. Please comment your thoughts before the ending. On a calm evening months later, Ethan stood watching his son ride a bike down the same road where everything had begun, laughter echoing into the fading light. Lily stood beside him, not as a savior, not as a secret, but as a partner who had chosen him every day since. The past still existed, but it no longer defined them. What defined them was a simple truth learned on a stormy night, that love does not arrive in comfort, and it does not ask for perfection. It arrives when someone stops to help a stranger, and in doing so, finds their own way home.